Nobody knew. That is the part that stays with me most. Even now. 3 years later. Nobody knew. Not her closest friends, not her mother, not the couple they had dinner with every other Friday for 6 years, who always said, "You two are the real deal, we want what you have." She would smile when people said that, thank them, mean it, in a way. Because from the outside, they were the real deal. The house was real, the holidays were real, the Saturday morning farmer's market, and the matching keep cups, and the shared Spotify account, all real. It was everything else that wasn't. Her name on Reddit is Quiet Room's Loud Mind. I'll call her Anna. Anna had been married for 11 years when she finally said it out loud. Not to her husband, not to a friend, not to a therapist. To herself, alone in the car, parked outside a Tesco, on a Wednesday afternoon, bags in the boot, engine still running. She said it, out loud, to nobody. I am not happy, I have not been happy, for a very long time. And I do not know who I am anymore, outside of this. She sat with those words for about 4 minutes. Then she went inside and bought the shopping. Because that is what you do. That is what Anna had always done. You feel the thing, whatever the thing is, and then you go inside and buy the shopping. Because the shopping needs buying, because dinner needs making, because there are 100 ordinary demands between you and the thing you just said out loud in the car. And ordinary demands do not pause for private revelations. Anna had married Daniel at 29. She had been with him since she was 24. He was, and she is, clear about this, even now, a good man, genuinely, kind, reliable, funny, in the specific way that only people who know you well can be funny. He was not cruel, he was not unfaithful, he did not drink too much, or work too much, or ignore her. He loved her, and she knew he loved her. That was, in some ways, the hardest part, because there was no villain in this story, no moment she could point to and say, there, that is where it broke. It was more like a fading, so slow, and so gradual, that she could not name the day it started. Could only look back from the car park of a Tesco on a Wednesday afternoon and understand that somewhere along the way she had stopped being a person and become a version of a person. The wife version, the daughter-in-law version, the half of a couple version. The woman who had opinions about kitchen tiles and strong feelings about their joint holiday calendar, but could not remember the last time she had done something that was entirely her own idea, for entirely her own reasons. She was 39 years old, and she could not remember the last time she had made a decision that was only about her. She had forgotten what that felt like, which is a strange thing to admit, because from the outside she had everything: the house, the husband who loved her, the career that was going well, the friends, the holidays, the matching keep cups, everything, and yet. She started therapy 3 weeks after the car park, not because she had decided to leave, she had not decided anything, she started therapy because she needed somewhere to put the thing she had said out loud that she could not put anywhere else. The therapist, a woman named Dr. Rashid, did not tell Anna what to do, did not tell her to stay or go, did not have opinions about Daniel, or the marriage, or the matching keep cups. She just asked questions quiet questions, specific questions, the kind that require you to look at things you have been carefully not looking at. Who were you before this relationship? What did you want before you wanted what you have? When did you last feel fully like yourself? Anna sat in that room every Tuesday at 6 p.m. and tried to answer honestly. It took months, not because the answers were complicated, but because she had spent so long not asking the questions that finding the answers felt like looking for something in a room she had not entered in years, dusty, familiar, full of things she had forgotten she had left there. She found things in that room. She found the woman who had wanted to write, actually write, not as a hobby, as a real thing, who had written 3 chapters of something at 26, before Daniel, before the house, before the life that became the only life. She found the woman who had felt most herself in rooms full of strangers, exhibitions, lectures, places where she did not know a single person and had to be entirely herself to navigate it. She had stopped going to those places, not because Daniel asked her to, but because it was easier not to, because the life they had built together was full enough that she had stopped noticing what was missing until the car park. She did not tell Daniel about the therapy for 4 months, not because she was hiding it, but because she was not ready to have the conversation that telling him would start. She told him in April, a Sunday morning. They were making breakfast. She was cutting toast. She said, "I have been seeing a therapist since January." He put down whatever he was holding, turned around, and said, "Why didn't you tell me?" She said, "Because I needed to understand what I was feeling before I tried to explain it to you." He said, "What are you feeling?" She said, "I don't know yet, but I think we need to talk properly about us and let the conversation unfold slowly and see where it takes them. About whether we are actually okay." He was quiet for a long time, and then he said, "I didn't know you weren't okay." She said, "I know, that's partly what I've been trying to understand." They talked for 4 hours that Sunday morning. The toast went cold, the coffee went cold, the whole morning just stopped. And they talked in a way they had not talked in years, maybe ever, about what they each wanted, about what they had each quietly stopped wanting, about the ways they had grown, not apart exactly, but differently, in directions that had seemed parallel for years, but had been slowly, imperceptibly, diverging. Daniel cried. Anna had not seen Daniel cry in 9 years. She held his hand across the kitchen table, meant it completely, loved him, in that moment, with the specific love you have for someone you have shared 11 years of life with. And knew, in the same moment, that love was not enough, that it had not been enough for a long time, and that they had both, in their own ways, known that, and been too afraid to say it, until now. The separation was, she will tell you, the most civilized, devastating thing she has ever experienced. Civilized because they were both good people who handled it as well as 2 people can handle something that hurts that much. Devastating because good people handling things well does not make it hurt less, it just means the grief is clean, which is its own kind of hard. They told people in stages, first their families, then their closest friends, then, eventually, everyone, and the response was, almost universally, shock. "But you seemed so happy, but you were so solid." But I thought, yes, everyone thought. That is the thing about a slow fading, it does not show from the outside, and that is what makes it so hard to understand. It just happens, slowly, over time. The house looked the same, the dinners looked the same, the matching keep cups, still on the counter. People see what they expect to see, and everyone expected to see Anna and Daniel, so everyone saw Anna and Daniel. Even when Anna and Daniel had already started to become Anna and Daniel separately. The first time Anna had her own flat, she was 40 years old. She had never lived alone, not once, from her parents' house to university halls, to the flat with 2 friends, to the flat with Daniel, to the house with Daniel. Never alone, she stood in the middle of a 1-bedroom flat in South Leeds on a Saturday afternoon, with a box of kitchen things at her feet. And felt something she could not immediately name. It took her a moment, and then she recognized it, possibility. Not happiness, not relief, just the specific feeling of a blank space that belongs to you, that you can fill any way you want, that nobody else has opinions about. She unpacked the kitchen things, put them wherever she wanted, made a cup of tea, sat on the floor, because the sofa was not coming until Tuesday, and drank it, in her flat, in the quiet, that was entirely hers. She wrote on Reddit, in a thread asking what nobody tells you about divorce. She wrote, "Nobody tells you that the grief and the relief arrive at exactly the same time, that you can cry for what you have lost, and simultaneously feel lighter than you have felt in years. That both of those things can be completely true, at the same time, and neither one cancels the other out. Nobody tells you that the hardest part is not the ending, it is the moment you realize the ending had already happened, long before you were brave enough to name it. That the conversation in the kitchen, on the Sunday morning, was not the beginning of the end, it was the end of the beginning of the end. And the real ending had been coming for years. She is 42 now, she still has the flat she started. She does not know yet what it is, and she is still trying to understand. But she gets up on Sunday mornings, makes coffee, sits at the desk she put by the window, and writes. For herself, for no other reason, just herself. She went to an exhibition last month, alone, stayed for 3 hours, did not explain herself to anyone, did not check if anyone else wanted to come, just went. And stood in front of paintings, for as long as she wanted to stand there, and felt. She said, completely like herself, for the first time in a very long time. She still cares about Daniel, he has a new flat too, they are, carefully, genuinely, okay. Which is not nothing, which is, she thinks, more than a lot of people get. She does not regret the 11 years, she regrets the years she spent, inside them, not being honest about what she needed. That is the thing, she would go back and change, not the marriage, not Daniel, the silence. The years of going inside, and buying the shopping, when what she should have done was stay in the car a little longer, and listen to what she was telling herself. Long before the car park on a Wednesday afternoon, long before it took a Tesco to finally hear it. If you are sitting in your own car park, with the engine running, saying something to yourself that you have been afraid to say, I want you to know that hearing it is not the same as knowing what to do with it. You do not have to know what to do with it, not yet, you just have to let yourself hear it. The shopping can wait 5 more minutes. Thank you for listening. Leave a comment below if this felt familiar. You do not have to explain, just tell me you are here, I will know what you mean. New story next week, and love.